One morning, Gregor Samsa woke in his bed from uneasy dreams, and found he had turned into a huge, verminous insect. His room, quite adequate, for one person was rather too small. His father was knocking at one of the side doors, gently but with his fist. Meanwhile, from the other side door came the soft, plaintive voice of his sister. Spread out on the table was a collection of samples of material he had unpacked. Samsa was a travelling salesman. At such moments he fixed his eyes as firmly as possible on the window, though, unfortunately, there was little by way of good cheer and encouragement to be gained from the sight of the morning fog. There was no sound of it slamming. Presumably they had left it open, as tends to happen in homes where some green disaster has occurred. It was already dusk when Gregor awoke from a deep sleep that was more like a swoon. The flat was certainly not empty, but now there was no sound to be heard. It was clear that no one would come into Gregor before morning, and so he had ample time to reflect in peace and quiet on how best to reorganize his life. She brought him a whole selection to find out what he liked, all spread out on an old newspaper. His little legs went wearing off. He consumed the cheese, the vegetables, and the sauce. In order to spare her even this sight, he one day transported a sheet to the sofa on his back. The task took him 4 hours, and arranged it in such a way that he was now completely covered. Scraping of the furniture over the floor were affecting him like some great turmoil that was being fueled from all sides. They were clearing out his room, depriving him of all his dearest possessions. And wouldn't it look as if by moving the furniture all hope of his getting better would be given up? And so he broke out from his cover, then spotted the picture of the lady all swathed in furs, hanging so conspicuously on what was otherwise a bare wall, crawled rapidly to it and pressed himself against the glass, which held him fast and soothed his hot belly. During the daytime, Gregor did not want to show himself at the window. Instead, he took up the habit of crawling all over the walls and the ceiling. In particular, he enjoyed hanging from the ceiling. It was quite different from lying on the floor. One could breathe more freely. One felt a faint pulsation through the whole of one's body. Finally, with the whole room beginning to reel around him, he dropped in despair onto the middle of the big table. The apple remained embedded in Gregor's flesh as a visible reminder of his serious injury. As a result of it, he had suffered some permanent loss of mobility. Streaks of dirt ran the length of the walls. Here and there lay balls of dust and filth. Any kind of junk, let alone dirty junk. As a result, many things had become superfluous, which, although not sellable, could hardly be thrown away either. All these things found their way into Gregor's room. Likewise, the ash bucket and the rubbish bin from the kitchen. Once, early in the morning, heavy rain was lashing against the window panes. Perhaps a sign that spring was already on the way. There was no longer space for free crawling, and Gregor would lie motionless for hours, dead tired and miserable. They decided to spend this day resting and going for a walk. Then they all three left the flat in company, something they had not done for months, and took a tram into the open country on the outskirts of the city. Their tramcar, in which they were the only passengers, was quite filled with warm sunshine.